Hi, I'm Ashley Park with IdeateTV, and I'm here with Dan Verssen of Dan Verssen Games. Dan, can you tell me a little bit about what got you started in the gaming industry?
Oh, sure. I played games in high school, and I started modifying other people's games, and then eventually I got to the point of wanting to design my own games, and that was in the early 1980s, and then we had our first game published in 1989, and then my wife, around 2008, had the idea of, hey, we've been designing games for 10 years, why don't we start our own company? Because we've done the design, the development, the artwork, the publishing, let's do it ourselves, and that was one of the best ideas ever. And so we've been publishing our own games now for about 7 years, and we've published dozens of titles on a whole variety of topics.
And you're an award-winning game designer, right? Can you tell me a little bit about some of those games?
Sure. I designed Modern Naval Battles, which won awards for design, as well as Hornet Leader, and one other game, I think Thunderbolt Apache Leader. And mostly I get the awards for design elegance, research, things like that. And just been very lucky to kind of submit the games, and people have liked them.
That's amazing. Well, can you tell me a little bit about how the gaming industry has changed since you first got started in it?
Sure. I first got started in the early 80s. Since then, there's been two major steps. The first was around the early 1990s, Magic the Gathering came out, and the whole collectible card game just changed the whole gaming world. Lots of new money, millions of dollars came into it. And then recently, maybe 5 years ago, Kickstarter has now really changed the industry, because now small companies can actually put plastic pieces and high quality components, whereas before nobody could afford to do that. But now with crowdfunding, you have the whole world contributing, and so it's changed the whole industry.
Definitely. Do you have any advice for anyone who might want to become a game designer and do a successful Kickstarter campaign?
I would say get a game that you really care about, because you're going to spend a lot of time working on it, and by the time you submit it to Kickstarter, make sure that you have really good quality components. In the old days, you could submit prototype components. Now people want to see the finished product, or else they won't pledge for your campaign.
Gotcha. And are there any games that you're working on right now that you'd want to tell anyone about?
Sure. Right now we're working on a giant mech robot game called Valkyrie. We'll be launching a Kickstarter for that in a couple months, and you're a pilot in a giant war machine, and it takes place on Earth in 2050, so there's tanks and other things, and it's kind of a role-playing game where as your character develops you get more skills, more tanks, better robots, and it'll be a fun time for everyone.
Oh, sounds like it. Very futuristic.
Thank you.
Sounds like fun. And lastly, do you have a favorite game that you've designed?
My favorite game has probably been the Air Leader series, which is like Hornet Leader, Thunderbolt Apache Leader, Phantom Leader, and that's where you command a squadron of aircraft flying missions all around the world, and you have to figure out what pilots you want, how do you want to fly your missions, so lots of decision making.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan.
Well, thank you.
And once again, I'm with Dan Verssen of Dan Verssen Games, and I'm Ashley Park with IdeateTV.